Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Grimes. I am a trombone teacher / low brass teacher in White Settlement ISD, and I am here to talk to you about the technical etude and the lyrical etude. We will do 2 videos for each etude. I'll do half of the etude on one video and then the other half of the etude on the other video for both etudes. So for this video, we'll be dealing with measure 1 through 12. A couple things I'll talk about are some of the articulation markings, so slurred versus staccato. Some of the dynamic markings, mezzo piano, mezzo forte, crescendo, decrescendo, stuff like that. And the way I think that this should be played, and maybe some tips and tricks about alternate positions. So I'll just kind of go measure by measure and break down how I would play through some of this, okay? So a couple intangibles that we should start off looking at. The key of this piece is F major, so only one flat that we have to deal with, one pesky flat, B flat. The rest of the notes, unless you see an accidental, unless you see a sharper flat written in the piece, or a natural for that matter, you're looking at just B flat, and then the rest of the notes will be naturals, okay? So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and then F again for the F major scale, okay? A couple terms we see at the top. It says lightly, so that does not mean play it like your big foot. Make sure you think about playing this nice and light, like a ballerina, as opposed to Bigfoot. So, what does that? What does lightly mean to us when we look at when you see that at the top of a piece of music? Well, lightly usually refers to the way we articulate. So the way we go tu 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 or do 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 into the horn. Okay, whenever we play a note on the instrument. So, if I'm thinking light articulations, as little tongue as I can possibly use while still having something at the front of the note, okay? So, the good way to experiment with this is to just do it on a single note. So pick F concert maybe, and just play 4 quarter notes and see how light you can make the articulation. Heavy would be, which we don't want. Why don't we want heavy on this? Well, the etude's quick. 80 to 96 beats per minute. It's going to be moving quickly, so if we have really heavy articulations, it's going to start to slow down, and we'll drag this etude into the ground. So, first and foremost, just make sure you have a nice light articulation. Okay? We start off this etude, measure 1. We have some staccato markings on the F, the A, and the F again on beat 1 and 2, and then a slur from F to G on the upbeat of 1 in the first measure. So the way I would play this is ta, ta, da, ta, 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 da, ta, ta. Or you can do what's called a natural slur from F to G, where you don't even have to articulate. You can just go ta, ah, and the instrument will naturally get the articulation out for you. Ta, ah. This is called a natural slur. Natural slur. Okay? It's important that we start to figure out what ways we can sort of maneuver our way around the instrument to make it work for us as opposed to us working for the instrument. Okay? So we have F, F, G, A, F, G, C. Okay? Second measure, we have another slur marking from the D to the E. Now this is on the same partial, meaning the same floor. So if we didn't articulate that, if we didn't go tu 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 or do 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 do, we get what's called a gliss. We don't want that. Now on trombone, we have to articulate whenever something's on the same floor, the same partial. So here we have to go ta da because we have a slur. Okay? So that would sound like this. Okay, so that's our first 2 bars. Measure 3, we have more slurs. Measure 3 is an interesting thing because we have basically the same line. We skip a note and then we come back. We skip up and then we come back down. So we go B, B, G, A. And then G, G, A, F. Okay? And remember, anytime we see the rainbow over the 2 notes, that's called a slur, so we have to go ta-da, ta-da, okay? So measure 4, we have more, we're outnumbered staccato to slur markings here. There's almost all of the notes in measure 4 are staccato. So nice separated. Staccato doesn't always mean you have to play it like a speck of dust. You can have some substance to those notes. So ta, ta, da, ta, 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 ta is how I would articulate that measure. Okay? And again, the E to F there in measure 4, those are on the same partial, so we have to articulate or else you will get a gliss. We do not want. Okay? Make sure you articulate those two. So. Okay? Underneath the measure, there's a big Pacman open mouth symbol. This just means get louder. This is called a crescendo. Pac-Man's coming to eat the villains in Pac-Man. We go from MP, mezzo piano, to MF, mezzo forte. Okay? So not a huge dynamic contrast, but you will get a little bit louder. All right. Measure 5 and 6. We have more slur markings that we're dealing with. As far as the overall shape, we're going up all the way to the C and the D, and then we come back down. Here's how this should be performed. Okay, you notice how I slurred all of the first 4 notes in measure 6. That's because it has the rainbow over it. For measure 6, I would play that D natural in 4th position. It makes the slur easier, so you can slur from the D to the C to the B flat, and then legato tongue the A. If I didn't already say it, legato tongue is the term that we're using for the do articulation. Okay? And then in measure 7, we have the same rhythm on beat 1 and 2 as we do on beat 3 and 4, with the exception of beat 4 and beat 2. Beat 2 is 8th notes, beat 4 is quarter note, but we have dotted 8/16 on both beat 1 and beat 3. So day to day. This is a good way to remember this rhythm. Day to day. Okay? Day to day. So we have B flat, G, A, F, G, A, F. Okay? Measure 8, we slur the first 2 notes, G, F, and then E, D, C, G, F. All right. Measure 9 through 12, we're almost through. Okay? Measure 9, we have the first 4 notes are slurred, so either do articulation or natural slur if you're able to on some of these notes. So like F to G, we can do a natural slur. E to F and G to B flat, you can't. And then we have A, C, F. This rhythm is called what's called a syncopation. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 for measure 9 and 10. That's how those rhythms should go. Okay. I'll play that for you real quick. So it sounds something like this. Another thing to note for those 2 measures is that we have a crescendo, decrescendo, so get louder up until the end of measure 9, and then measure 10, you come back down. Okay? Measure 11 and 12, we have the same shape, so you get louder for the first bar, softer for the second bar. This is something that we call, and you'll hear it called a hairpin dynamics. It's just because it's in the shape of a hairpin. Measure 11, we have a new note introduced here. We haven't seen this note yet. It's B natural. So B natural will be 4th position instead of 1st position where your B flat is. So we have B, C, D, B. And I do, because I'm already in 4th position for the B natural, it makes my life easier if I just play that D in 4th as well. Just make sure you get it in tune. It's going to be in a different place than the B natural. There's our syncopation again. 3 and. Okay, and then for measure 12, you have B, G, F, D, C. Okay, So after all this, I want to give you an example. There's already going to be a separate video for this, but I wanted to just play these 12 measures so you can hear kind of the things that I've talked about so far. There you go. Okay, next video will be measure 13 through 24. See you later.